United Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in to another edition of the United Spurs of America podcast, coming to you live following Tottenham's 3-1 victory over London rivals West Ham United. Heung-min Son at the double, could have had three, almost had a hattie in front of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The Lily White faithful. How we doing, everyone? How we doing? Joined by your hosts as always, Michael and Jacob. Jacob, I'm gonna bring you in here, man. I need to tell you something real quick before we get into anything.
Talk to me.
West Ham get battered everywhere they go. West Ham get battered everywhere they go. West Ham get battered everywhere they go, my friend. 3-1 victory over the West Ham Slammers, like you like to call them. Heung-min Son at the double. We've been talking about it on our live streams with Tottenham away recently, how we've been begging for a Heung-min dad, Heung-min Son goal forever. He went through a little bit of a drought, can't lie, but hey, he's back and he shows why he's world class, my friend.
He continually shows everyone why when you talk down on one of the baddest man in a Spurs shirt right now, this is what's going to happen. And I think it all spoke volumes when you look at his celebration. If you're watching on Spotify, what's up? How you doing? This is the celly. We're doing the celebration. That's what Heung-min says. Shh. Cállese, güey. Cállate tu boca. Don't be talking down on my man's son. That's what it comes down to. Because you know what he's going to do? You put a firecracker in a box, it's going to blow that box up. Motherfucker will light up, be on fire. Oh, it was beautiful to see because not only has he been our best player this season, but he's also been one of our most disrespected players this season.
As of late, for sure.
And that's what I don't understand. How you can have anything negative to say about this man when he's literally carried us when Harry Kane's been down. He's easily been our best player this season. And I mean, even Harry Kane, he's now finally in the double digits for Premier League goals. Heung-min Son's been there.
Yeah, he's been there.
And I think I saw something from our source on Twitter, at whoever the fuck, shout out. I think I saw something that was like one more assist, and Heung-min Son will be the only person in Premier League to have like 10 goals and 6+ assists over 6 years. I mean, come on, man. Like, Harry Kane and Heung-min Son are breaking records, and people are still complaining about him. I don't understand.
Yep, we had another goal contribution between the two, the goal connection between the two. Best duo in the world right now, best duo in the Premier League history at that, more importantly. But Jacob, I felt like this win was important on so many levels for many, many different things. This was a 6-pointer, like we had talked about many times on the live streams with Tottenham away, because Tottenham and West Ham, going into this match, we were in 7th, West Ham was in 6th. We now jumped into 5th place. So not only was it important because we're tight in the race in top 4 with West Ham. They are in the mix right now. We jumped them and are now 3 points ahead of them with a game in hand, which is awesome. But 6-pointer, a London derby victory, important. We haven't had many of those this season, unfortunately. And it was a win at home in front of the home crowd. And it was back-to-back victories for the first time in what seems like forever, my friend. And now, like I mentioned, we're now sitting in 5th place. Now Arsenal do have a game in hand. They're in front of us, and they are 3 points ahead. They have 54. We have 51. We're in 5th right now. But it was important, man, for so many different reasons. So many different reasons. And we talked about it many times before the match even started. And it was just, I don't care if it's a 1-0 victory. I don't care if it's a 5-0 victory. I don't care if it's a 2-1 clawed out in the 89th, 90th minute victory. We needed the 3 points, and that was the most important thing. We got them all.
Any way you gift wrap it, the gift remains the same. you needed the 3 points. This is a team, like you said, also fighting for top 4. We dropped points against United, someone else fighting for top 4. This win puts us in a decent position to continually still talk about the fact that we might get top 4. You know what I'm saying? We lose this game, top 6 is where I'm at.
I said if we had lost this game, I was out on the top 4 hopes, in my opinion, just because of the inconsistencies that we've seen from this team way too many times recently. I just can't put all of my faith realistically in betting on a big long stretch of a Tottenham run of wins and, just unbeaten, you know what I mean? Just getting points where you need them, getting 3 points more importantly, because obviously it's so vital going into this final stretch of the season in the Premier League. Every point matters, every 3 points more importantly per game matter. So we needed this one, man. We needed this one, and I'm glad we got it over the line. It's the most important thing, like I said. 3 points is 3 points no matter how you got them. But to that point, we got them pretty convincingly, which was nice. It was a comfortable victory. When we got the third in the 89th minute, I think everyone had a big, obviously, cheer when it went in, but it was also a little bit of a relief, right? Because it was like, all right, we're good to go. We got the 3 points. We're in 5th place. Let's fucking ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think in talking to our correspondents, our boots on the ground out there at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Stelios and Iggy, they told us that there was just a lot of nervous energy between their goal and our third goal, just because we were all kind of waiting to see what's going to happen here. But you know what? Last season, we blew a 3-0 lead against these cats in 7 minutes. So for me, this game was always going to be going down to the wire. With that said, though, convincingly, I was somewhat convinced. I wasn't like preaching to the choir or nothing. But look, we showed some good things. I love the fact that every time Kurt Zouma touched the ball, the crowd absolutely booed him. I mean, we were in his head. He got one own goal. I heard
he was at fault for the other one too, the second goal.
That's what I'm saying. I also going to say I heard people arguing he could have had 2 own goals. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the fact that our first 2 goals go off of him to go in the first place, poetic justice. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, poetic. And that's a beautiful thing about this sport, Michael.
Karma's a beautiful thing, my friend.
That's so beautiful about this sport. Is this sport, it'll find you. You know what I'm saying? You can't hide from this sport. It's going to find you.
It'll grab you by the nuts, and it'll drag you on the ground wherever it needs you to.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. And the fact, you and I were texting before this game, and we even said what we were thinking, I said, for some reason, something been telling me a Heung-min Son hat trick.
Yeah.
And we pretty much almost got it. If that
We almost did. We thought that everyone pretty much thought that the first one was finished by Heung-min Son. It was a beautiful, beautiful cross into a dangerous area where Heung-min Son was right there. I believe it was Harry Kane who had sent the ball in, and it ended up going off the back heel of Kurt Zouma, which was awesome. Yeah. Ricocheted into the back of the net. Yep.
Harry
Opened
Kane
the ball into the net.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, man. But let's get into the goals, man. The goal scorer, more importantly. I want to talk about Heung-min Son, and I know you do as well. But what a performance, man. Like we had been saying earlier on in the pod, he had been getting a lot of hate recently. Now, I can't lie. He hasn't been in great form. I don't think anyone can deny that. He hasn't been in the best form. I'll correct myself on that. But he's been getting a lot of flack on Twitter recently, and it's gotten to the point where he's also kind of gotten some racial abuse as well that we've seen here and there, which is obviously unfortunate. Look, racial abuse is always going to be there in the world at the end of the day, but it's still disgusting to see. And Heung-min Son was getting a little bit of it over the past few weeks, so I think I had just a little bit more sympathy for him there just because he was getting racially abused. But you mentioned his celebration after the first goal, man. Shushing the crowd. That was basically for every single one of his haters who had been abusing him online, had been saying stuff behind his back, all the hate he had been getting. But you had mentioned it earlier on, Jacob, and we've said it many, many times on the podcast before. Even when he's not at his best, The difference between a great player and a world-class player is still being able to affect the game even when you're not at your best. Even when Heung-min Son is not at his best, more often than not, I won't say every time, but more often than not, he's there when we need him, and he bags goals when we need him in the right moment, or he makes a really good impact at a right time. Bottom line, he makes an impact and he makes a difference in the Spurs team, whether he's playing good or whether he's playing great. You know what I mean? And even when he's out of form, he still delivers an impact. And Jacob, what a performance against West Ham. We mentioned it already. 2 goals, could have had a hattie, almost did have a hattie. But what a response from the man.
Heung-min Daddy is legitimately the reason why I love Tottenham Hotspur. And I'm going to put that on record. I was on Tottenham Away's Monday night live stream, and I said it. I said I would not be where I'm sitting today if it wasn't for Heung-min Daddy. Sorry, Heung-min Daddy, because he encapsulates a lot of things, most of the things that I really love about football in general. The racist abuse, I feel like I don't even need to touch on it. We all know it's disgusting and wrong, and I wouldn't even consider any of those people actual fans. I'm just going to say that first and foremost. If you in any way make any kind of jokes about like his culture, what he eats, his ethnicity, his race, anything like that, you're not a fan, bro. You're just a fucking hater. And honestly, I'd love to fucking see you in the streets. I'd love for you to fucking say some stupid ass shit to me in the streets. I'm leave it at that.
I don't even know what would happen if I was with you and I witnessed that. Like, I would be scared for the other person.
Lord help me if that was the case. That's all I'm going to say. The Lord would need to, Jesus would have to take the wheel at that point because I couldn't control myself. The beautiful part for me, really, when I watch Heung-min Son play is he's got a whole bag of tricks in his locker, and at any point he could utilize any of them. And his runs in behind, the timing, the chemistry he's got with Harry Kane, it's record breaking. He's about to break records. He's won awards for goals of the year. Like, this guy, proven time and time again, he is a vital asset. I would say you could argue this season he's our most important player. You could argue he's our most important or second most important behind Harry Kane.
Yeah.
And I mean, the connection between the two, like, you can't speak highly enough. I think Harry Kane got robbed of an assist and a goal as well. I think he should have finished that goal, or the shot that he had that
Early second half.
Mm-hmm. I thought he should have finished that. But what we witnessed, like, I was watching the game, you know, my wife's there, she's feeding the son, and she saw Heung-min Son's like first goal, not the own goal, right? He saw the first goal, like, was in the 20-something minute.
Mm-hmm.
She saw it and was like, "Oh, that was nice. I saw that." Like, because normally she doesn't catch the goals live because she's not actually watching. But she saw that, and I turned to her, and my first thought was like, think about this. You just got to witness a little piece of history. Every time Harry Kane and Heung-min Son link up for a goal, it's a fucking piece of history.
Yep.
And if that don't put you hard in the pants, I don't know what will.
What can you say, man? Heung-min
What can you say?
Heung-min Dad.
Bro, he's got a lap hog. He's got a cannon in the pants. And he's fully coys. That's what's so beautiful about it.
Heung-min, hold this banger. Heung-min, steal your girl. It doesn't matter, bro.
Heung-min, there's room
World
for
class.
you in the bed.
There's plenty of room for you in the bed with Heung-min Hyun.
Mm-hmm. He's world class, and you and I think we're both in agreement about just how fantastic of a player he is. But I mean, what do you think? These guys, history is made every time, like, from here on out until they stop playing together.
If I'm being honest, I think the biggest reason why I'm so excited about the attack right now is Heung-min Son and Harry Kane are it seems like they're back in sync. You know how we were saying earlier this season where we kind of felt like there was a little bit of a disconnect here and there in certain performances where it just didn't feel like they were on the same page. Right now, they are in peak form in terms of like connection and knowing what the other's doing. You know, they're just in sync right now. And what makes it even better, my friend, is that they have a third person up top that is making just as big of an impact as those two. And we can't say that's happened consistently for the past few seasons. We can't. It's been an inconsistent position, that right wing position in our front three.
Not when we had
But
Gareth Bale.
Well, that's true. That's
When
true.
we had
When we
Gareth
had
Bale,
Gareth Bale and he was playing consistently, yeah, that was a front three to be reckoned with. But right now, my friend, Dejan Kulusevski he's that guy. Let me tell you, okay? First of all, he's that guy. You roll up and you see this kid, I'd be like, sir, thank you for everything that you have done for me. And thank you for everything that you're going to continue to do for me and my football club. What a signing, man. What a signing. What a player, first of all. Another brilliant performance Sunday against West Ham. I've said it really since his first appearance. We had said, oh yeah, it was a bright little cameo. We saw some good things. He looks like a pretty good technical dribbler on the ball, and he's got some good movement off of it. You know, he works hard. He's got a good work rate. But now it's each game he's doing something more, something different, or something, something that catches the eye that we haven't seen before. What a performance. If Heung-min Son and Harry Kane were not on the field on Sunday, he probably would have been my man of the match. But look, the bottom line is he's making an impact, and he's making an impact much quicker than we anticipated. We had said, all right, this is kind of a signing for the future. He's only 21 years old. Hopefully he can make an impact here and there. Maybe he can make some appearances off the bench, really make an impact there, catch some teams on the counter. You never know. He's turned out to be much more than that, my friend. And I don't know, man. What else can you say about him at this point? He's making a real impact.
Not to take anything away from the lad, I thought he had a very solid game, and I think the performances that Dejan Kulusevski has been putting in, you're right. It offers us something at that right wing position, a little bit of consistency. I think a little bit more calm and poise in the final third, whereas I think a Bergwijn or a Mora kind of play the ball out too much, try and go
or they do too much.
Yeah, and it's just like the calm confidence that Dejan Kulusevski has when he's in the final third that I really appreciate the most. I've given him a little shtick. He's not the fastest. We saw another example of that this game. We saw another example, let's be honest, where if he had some Bergwijn pace. But here's the thing. Do you trade off the pace for more confidence and poise and class in front of net and in the final third?
10 times out of 10, yes.
See, that's where I think the debate comes in. But for me, these are two top quality signings, because I'm going to take away from Kulusevski a little bit, because this game, and it's not every case, but I think Rodrigo Bentancur, I think he outplayed the midfield. Like, he shined versus West Ham. And
he was so good, man.
And to see the response, because, he didn't have his best game as a Tottenham Hotspur player versus United. I mean, that's a big this guy's 24. All right, it's his first time playing at Old Trafford. So, to me, that's a big stage. It's understandable that the first time you ever go there, you might be a little bit flat-footed, a little bit nervous, but still, he doesn't look nervous. And there's another, he's creative with the ball offensively. He can make those passes. He's calm when he has the ball, and he can also get back and defend. We saw him, I would say, save a goal in the first half. There was two West Ham attackers, and he took the ball before they could really put any pressure on Lloris. So he's kind of got it all. And I think we're in a very good position right now where Oliver Skipp's starting to get back to healthy, where now we have a problem. Who do we break up this little partnership we have between Hojbjerg and Bentancur, which has been moderately successful at this point? Or do we bring Skipp in for Hojbjerg? I don't know. These are things that I'm excited to see. But yeah, dude, these signings from Juve, I know I've heard it all. They all say Juve rejects, blah, blah, blah. My question would be, Juve, you got any more rejects? Because we need left center back, we need a left back, we need a right back. Fuck it, man. You got a backup striker? Give me all your rejects. If they're as good as these guys, they're better than what we got. Bentancur Kulusevski have both shown us more in the limited games that they've played, the limited amount of time. They've only been here since January. And they've shown us more than Lo Celso and Dombele. Heel. I mean, no offense. Heel wasn't here that long, but...
Yeah.
I mean, even still.
No, I agree. They've been great signings, man. And...
I think
I want to apologize, actually, because I said outside of if Harry Kane or Heung-min Son weren't on the pitch, Kulusevski would have gotten man of the match. I need to throw in Bentancur in as well. So I apologize, Rodrigo. If you're listening to this,
big dickin' too.
If you're listening to this, Rodrigo, I apologize. No disrespect, but I agree, man. What a signing he's been, and it's. I don't think we were expecting much. If I'm being honest, at least I think that's kind of how me and you were feeling. At least we weren't expecting too much, just because of who we've signed recently. Track record's not that good. Romero was a really, really good signing. We've said it since day one, but outside of that, last summer signings really haven't made much of an impact as well. It's been good to see, man, and it's just a nice change of pace, if I'm being honest, because we've seen so many signings walk through the door, not make an impact, walk right back out, or stay for a little bit longer than they should have, and then make their way to the exit.
Or they're
it's a nice change of it's a nice change of pace. You know what I mean?
Or they're still sitting on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. You get my gist. But it's a nice change of pace, man. Bentancur's been great. Kulusevski's been great. They were brilliant against West Ham, and I don't know, man. It was a great win overall. The vibes are good today. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. Getting 3 points and jumping into 5th place, more importantly, and in what will be a really, really tight top 4 finish. If it looks like if anything's to be seen based on the table. I'm just excited, man. Hopefully that Oliver Skipp can come back. In my opinion, I think it's a no-brainer. You take Hojbjerg out, you put Skipp in, and I think the midfield takes an even step up, a further step up than what it's been right now. I think Bentancur and Skipp would work really, really well together.
Let me ask you this. How many times they play together? How many times have they practiced together?
Well, we're about to see. I'm sure they practice a lot.
You think
before Skipp was injured?
Skipp's been injured the entire time he's been here.
Since before the international break, huh?
Yeah, Skipp's been down for a long-ass time now.
Yeah.
There's no way he's trained with him
I would
yet.
put him in.
He's maybe run laps with the guy.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Skipp's undroppable. We're a different team with Skipp in the lineup.
We're a different team with 100% healthy, fully confident, fully fit and practiced and run with the team Skipp. I agree. But this is a Skipp coming off of an injury, hasn't had much game time.
If he's ready to go, I'd put him in.
I'm more concerned about the chemistry him and Bentancur will have, because
I think they'll be fine.
How many times have they practiced together?
I think they'll be fine.
You've worked
great players play great with other great players. Oliver Skipp's a great player, and so is Bentancur so far. I think it's a no-brainer, man.
With that logic, let me ask you this.
But I'm saying what I just said though.
No. With that logic,
with a fully fit Skipp, you would not drop Hojbjerg. Fully fit Skipp, ready to go.
I'll put him on the bench. I'll bring him in the 60th minute. Let him get 30 minutes, see what he can do.
We're a completely different team with Oliver Skipp in the lineup. You can't drop him. Before he got injured, you could not tell me that there was a better midfielder at Tottenham.
And this
was before Bentancur came in. Was there a better midfielder this season? No.
I mean, overall, I'd still say Hojbjerg.
Better than Skipp?
That's just what I say.
No, never.
That's just what I say. No. I mean, it's a good debate topic.
You've been talking to Ellie recently? Has she been rubbing off on you?
I don't have a fucking hard on for Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg, if that's your question.
No, man. I just think we're just a different team with Oliver Skipp. I think he brings a lot of great energy. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Hojbjerg's a bad player by any means. I'm just saying that when Skipp was flying and he was fully fit and he was in form, he was undroppable. In my opinion, you have a fully fit Skipp in your squad, you can't leave him on the bench. I think you got to play him from the beginning.
Even if he's only practiced with Rodrigo fucking 3 times.
Great players play good with other great players, I'm telling you.
Okay, so by that logic, why are the Lakers not doing well? They have fucking 8 Hall of Famers, but they can't
play
win
basketball
a damn game.
and not football.
You just said great players play great together. with
Yeah,
with
I'm
other
talking.
great
We're talking
players.
about football, not basketball.
No, but that's a logic, right? You're saying. Well,
I'm talking about football, my guy. I'm not talking about basketball. I'm saying
Okay.
right now, great players play good with other great players.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that sentiment, but
I'm telling you, Oliver Skipp better than Hojbjerg. I'll say it until the day I die. Until
How did
Hojbjerg
he
proves
do-
me wrong. I'm
mean,
not saying he's playing bad. I'm just saying Oliver
I
Skipp
would
is
argue-
different.
I would argue your better player is a player who's fucking healthy. So I would say Hojbjerg is more reliable, and he's therefore a better player than Skipp because he's fucking healthy and he's out there.
I mean, you can't really control injuries, my guy.
You can't.
Some players are just unlucky with injuries. Look at Sessegnon. He's been really unlucky with injuries his whole Tottenham career.
Exactly, and that's exactly. If you ask my opinion on the lad, I'd say we need to sell him, and we need to sign a fucking world class left wing back.
Yeah, well, that's a different discussion. I'm just saying, players get unlucky with injuries. You can't. I mean, if you tear your ACL, am I going to blame you for tearing your ACL?
Regardless, the best player is the one who's available. You could be fucking world class talent, but if your ass is sitting there on crutches, you ain't doing nothing for the team.
I disagree.
What? So Skip sitting there on the bench, did that help us get 3 points?
No, I'm saying
Him sitting there in
So
civilian
what are you
clothes?
trying to say though? What are you trying to say right now?
I'm trying to say that your argument of Skip being a better player than Hojbjerg is incorrect, because my argument is a better player is the player that's available, whether he's on the bench, whether he's on.
I'm just saying that
I would argue
Skip is
right
a
now
better
Winks
player.
is more valuable to Skip than Skip because
Well,
he's
you
available.
could say then every other player in the squad is more. You could say Golini is more valuable than Skip right now. Then anyone's more valuable than
No,
a hurt
Golini,
player, bro.
I don't know
I'm
about
just saying that you can't knock someone for getting injured when it's not really their fault.
Right, but I also can't say they're better than a player that's actually been there for every game.
I mean, Hojbjerg's had some pretty bad performances because he's been out there for too long, you could argue. I mean, we've obviously talked about it before,
Yeah.
that he's been overworked, and he's just a different player when he actually gets rest versus...
So does Kane, so does Son. Every player, when they're overworked, underperforms. It's just natural. But
I didn't say they didn't. I was just saying I would rather have Oliver Skipp in my lineup than Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg.
Right, but he's not available. So
I know. I'm just saying that I would rather have him in my lineup. If he's healthy, I'd rather have him in my lineup than Hojbjerg, and you were saying not.
I was saying not until he's actually practiced with Bentancur and practiced with the team, that I wouldn't start him
I would put him
immediately.
in.
That once he's 100% fit, I believe the bench is the best option for him for the first game or two, at least.
Yeah, but when he's fully fit, he's ready to go, you got to put him in the lineup, in my opinion.
Hey, as long as he's had more than fucking 5 practice sessions with Rodrigo, I would support Oliver Skipp being in there, because you and I both agree he was before any of these transfers, he was our best midfielder. Defensively, and I guess you could say offensively, because him, Winks, and Hojbjerg weren't doing too much offensively. But yes, so I agree. Skipp is a quality player. I'm not in any way trying to shit talk on Skipp. I'm just simply saying, for me, Hojbjerg's a better player because he's actually available. That's why I would also say, I would say Sessegnon is more talented than Reguilon, but he's never available. Like, how can you could be the best left wing back in the world, but if you're not physically fit to play, how are you helping the team? I just think that it'd be very hard for him and Rodrigo to immediately be on the same page. So let me ask you, how many practice sessions do you think it would take for them to be comfortable? You're saying it doesn't matter. It's just as long as he's 100% fit, that he's good to go.
If he's 100% fully fit to go and Conte thinks he's ready and he plays him, I'm not going to complain. If he's ready to go, he's ready to go. That's what I'm saying. Oliver Skipp's proven before that he can play with pretty much any other midfielder. He has. He's played with pretty much every other midfielder that we have had before. And he's, for the most part, I would say 85, 90% of the time, would you say? He's put on good performances in a Tottenham shirt.
There was a couple games where he looked a little out of sorts, or he was trying too much.
85 to 90% though. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying every game. 85 to 90%. He's played good for Tottenham, has he not?
Yeah.
I put my faith in Skipp because of what he's proven to me already. That's
So
what I'm trying to say.
80 to 95% of 30% of games is what you're saying is enough to displace someone who's played, let's say, what's a fair number for Hojbjerg? Percentage of numbers. I'd say 65 to 70%.
He's played good?
Yeah. Of the
Yeah.
games that he's played for us. That's covering 2
Yeah.
years now. So you're saying, and I would say he's been available 95, almost 100% of the time. He's been available.
Yeah.
So he offers you 100% availability at 65% success rate. Whereas you're saying Oliver Skipp gives you 30%. And
Why
in
30%? He's played 30% of the games this
30%
season?
of the since he's been on our roster, how many games has he played?
More than 50, because we're not done with the season yet. And he was healthy for half the season. So it'd be
looking
way
it
more
up.
than 30.
So if he's played 18 matches this year, we've played 29 games
62%.
for this season.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many games are in a Premier League season?
32, I believe. Or
32.
34.
I thought it was 37.
36. I don't know. Some up there.
There's 37 this season.
He's realistically only been a squad player for 2 years. This is his second year since he's come back from Norwich. Or this year, right? Sorry. He was at Norwich last year. This is the first year he's been like a serious like 11 player because he's come out through the academy because he's young.
All right. Here, Premier League. These are all the times he was in the Premier League. So, 8 matches plus 7 matches.
Right, but Jacob, the 18-19 season, he wasn't a serious 11 player. He
Plus
was just on the bench.
Again, I'm talking about the amount of time he's been here.
Bro, you
how
can't
he's been
knock
available.
someone for not playing when they're just not ready.
I never knocked him for it.
You just did, because you're adding the games that he didn't play in the 18-19 season when he wasn't really in the squad.
I'm presenting an argument as to why Hojbjerg.
No, but you're
is better
skewing the
for us.
argument in your favor for Hojbjerg.
How?
Like
did I
you have
skew
to
it?
go through the dude. You're gonna say that Oliver Skipp was gonna play in the 18-19 season in the starting 11 because you're holding that against him. So you're saying that he was gonna be a contender.
He started twice. In the
Exactly, because he wasn't ready.
Out of
So
8
why
games, out of
are
8
you
games,
putting
he
that
started
against him
twice.
for your argument?
Because in 8 games that he was in the sheet,
Hojbjerg came
he
to
started
us
twice.
already when he was 26, and Oliver Skipp started playing for us when he was 18, 17.
Again, I'm looking at it right here. He started 2 matches, so clearly he was ready to start at least 2 matches.
Yeah, but you could go back, and I guarantee you there would either be injuries or it might have been FA Cup. I'm telling you
this is
that
Premier
he
League,
was
it's
not ready
FA
in the
Cup, it's not FA
18-19
Cup.
season.
This is for Premier League.
I know, and I'm telling you, the 18-19 season, he was not ready to play in the 11.
Ready or
So
not?
you can't
Ready
knock
or not?
him.
We're not talking about who's ready or not. We're talking about availability versus like your successful, like how great you are in your amount of availability. That's what we started talking about. And I was saying, Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg, in the amount of time that he's been here, whether he's been ready from A to B or not, he's been successful. I'd say 60%, at least 65. He's had decent games. I'm saying that overall availability, even though it's a lower percentage of, like, let's say success than what Oliver Skipp, because we've already said 80 to 95% of the time that we've seen Skipp play, he's been solid. And again, none of this is a knock on Skipp. I'm simply saying why I think Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg deserves to start over him is because he's been there. He's been there for the team. And the most important player for a team is a player who's available. That's my opinion.
Let's talk about Reguilon. Let's talk about the left wing back position.
Yeah.
I've been saying it before, and I think I'm over the line at this point. I think it's time to look for a new left wing back, or at least a left back. Again, some missed opportunities from Reguilon in the final third. Second straight game, really, where he should have had, you could argue, 1 goal in each game. Failed to convert once again against West Ham. But yeah, man, what are your overall thoughts right now on the left wing back position? I'm concerned at this point because Sessegnon's obviously he hasn't been too reliable since he's been here with Tottenham. He's been unlucky with injuries, and Reguilon just, I don't know, hasn't really been cutting it under Conte at least.
My thing with Region, and I think we've touched on this on the live stream, is that I feel like we thought he was so great immediately because it was just such an upgrade from Ben Davies at the left back. Now it's like, I feel like by now he should have settled in. He's got the mental part there. I think it's just like physically he's trying to overcompensate maybe. That's speculation, but it's just, I think Sessegnong's a better player at the position that Conte's asking for, but he's not available. So my thought process at the position would be this, and I was on Tottenham Away's live stream today, and I said pretty much the same thing, that I think Region is good. I think he's a good he's a good athlete. But what's our goal? Is our goal to just get in top 4 and that's it eventually? Like, I'm thinking 5 years, if we can keep Conte for at least 3 of them, like, I want to win the Premier League. Region starting in our 11 I don't think it helps that overall dream of mine. Now, that doesn't mean he can't come in and supplement and be a good off the bench guy, or, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, kind of a squad player. I think he could be decent at that role. I don't know if he'd want that. He'd probably rather go back to Real Madrid or Sevilla, and I would also try and move Sessegnong on, just because maybe you can showcase, that he's a good player and you can get a little extra value out of him when you sell him. But again, it's like, if you're not available but you're really good at your position, like, you're still not helping us get that 3 points until you're physically fit and able to go. And Region, he's, to my knowledge, the only injuries he's had is like COVID, which I don't know how much you can blame on them, because they're in a stadium full of 50,000 people. So I don't know if you can really blame him for that. So it's tough. We definitely got to fucking sign a starter. If we don't, it's not good enough. The left side's not good enough. The right side's not good enough. My hope, though, is that Levy and Enoch, they're going to see, hey, we only got 2 guys for Antonio Conte. They weren't even his top 2 targets, but we got 2 people that Antonio Conte said he could work with. And they've come in and they've been top 5 players for our team, out of our 11. So maybe that rings a bell to somebody saying, hey, maybe we should go for his targets. Mm-hmm. And so I think you said something when we were arguing about the Skipp thing, that is a very definitive line for me when it comes to any argument, whether you and I feel either way. The very definitive line I think you said was, if Conte wants it, then I'm not going to complain. And that's exactly where I'm at in regards to signings. Whatever Conte wants, give the man whatever he wants. I trust him, and he'll lead us in the right direction. He wants to be successful. Could you imagine on his resume, he says, I took Tottenham and won the Premier League with them, or I won 2-3 trophies with them.
Anything with them.
I mean, he wants that success on his resume. He is a serial winner. So just got to give that man whatever he wants. And to me, we need a starting left back.
Yeah, I agree.
But of the talent, I'm not saying like another Region to compete with Region. I'm talking a guy that comes in, it's like everyone knows he's starting over Region or Sessegnong. You know what I mean? Like a Alphonso Davies, Theo Hernandez, those kind of like world-class left backs, I think. Or whoever Conte wants. If Conte's like, no, this guy would be better than them, fuck it. Whatever Conte wants. I think that's, frame that quote, because I will die on that hill, that if it's what Conte wants, if it's what he thinks is best, who am I to, like you said, I mean, hell, maybe he sees Skipp one practice and he's like, yeah, put him in. Then I'm with you. At that point. I'll say, you know what? I wasted 20 minutes of our fucking time debating on why Hojbjerg should start over Skipp, because when it comes down to it, whatever Conte chooses, I support it. And I know, people have said, just because he's Antonio Conte, he's not devoid of criticism. For me, he is. He's done way more than I ever fucking could.
There's rumors right now that Real Madrid and also Barcelona are interested in bringing him back to Spain, possibly in the summer. If Conte's good with it and he wants him sold, we could get some pretty nice cash flow from him. I think they were saying 25 up to 35 million euros, I think it was, or pounds, whichever one of those European currencies it was. But if Conte's okay with it and he greenlights a move away for Reguilon and he uses the funds to bring in a really, really good left wing back, then yeah, by all means, let's do it. But yeah, man, it's just, for me, it's a little disappointing because it's just another position that we need reinforced now. At the beginning of this season, it wasn't something that we were really that concerned with because Reguilon had been playing good enough to where we weren't that concerned about the position. But now, because he's so reliant in his system on his wing backs, if they're not consistently performing and not producing, then you're not going to be able to get consistent performances. And Tottenham have been the exact opposite of consistent in the second half of the season so far. So for me, if he wants him gone and he wants to bring in someone else, I'm all for it. Let's bring in some extra cash for the guy. Nice lad, seems like a great guy. But if he's not going to cut it under Conte and Conte doesn't feel like he's going to cut it under him, then all right, man, let's cash the check out and let's bring in another player to compete with either Sessegnon or we bring in two more left wing backs. You never know. But
let me ask you
now
this.
it's a left wing back, right wing back, center back, midfielder, backup striker. Like, got some serious business to do again.
I'm actually not too concerned about a creative midfielder anymore. I mean, I'd like a set piece taker at some position. If we had like Trippier, and we had him, he's a set piece taker. I would like to see that. But, bro, Rodrigo's fucking good. And if we got Skipp and Pierre battling it out for the starting position, that's a good problem to have.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I want to ask you this. Conte calls you up. Yo, Mike, I got to sell one and I got to keep one. Reguilon and Sessegnon. Who should I sell? And why?
Reguilon, because you could get more for him. And you could bring in potentially an even better player in his place. With Sessegnon, I think he's been hurt too many times. And I don't think we would get back even what we sold him for. I think you'd get better bang for your buck if you sold Reguilon, in my opinion, just because he's also had success in Spain before. So he's a proven player in the league. He's won a Europa League with a Spanish team already. And he's played the majority of the matches that he's been here at Tottenham. So I think you'll get better cash flow for him. That's the only reason why I would sell him. But if you're in terms of like reliability or whatever, obviously you would sell Sessegnon because he just hasn't been available.
So let me put this on a little whipped cream on your sundae. Think about the fact though that English players, when sold to English teams, have like a lot higher of a value because of that homegrown rule. So that's my other argument as fact like why I think I would sell Sessegnon, because he's shown that he's got talent. He's shown that he's got something, right? We've all seen it. It's just not enough, not often enough. So I think you sell him to like a Everton or Burnley, Norwich. Well, Burnley probably wouldn't take him because they're racist, but like a Norwich, I think he could do wonders. And they could buy him easily for 30, 25, 30. That's a little bit.
I don't think he's worth 20, 25. I don't even think he's worth 20 right now. I think you'd sell him for probably 15.
Really?
I think you'd be able to get 15 or 17 from him right now, unfortunately.
That's my hope, right? That's just my speculation. Like you could get more for Sessegnon. Not more, but more bang for your buck, let's say, in regards to helping your team, because if you can get an extra 5-10 million just for the fact that he's English, not the fact of his talent, then I think it would bode better to like keep the more talented player, sell the guy you can sell for a little bit higher than his actual value. But again, I guess you got to find his fucking suitable bidder. It was hard enough just getting Dele Alli out the door. I would lean on the side of selling Sessegnon rather than Reguilon, because I feel like there's something he offers there. But I don't think he'd be cool with just sitting on the bench. I think he'd rather flourish in La Liga, and I think he'd do great because, I mean, as you see, lesser talented players go to that league and are very successful. So maybe that's what he wants to do for his career. But from a Tottenham perspective, I think he'd be great off the bench.
All right, you want to get into our man of the match and BD before we wrap it up?
Let's get it.
All right, you want to kick us off with your man of the match?
My man of the match, none other, Heung-min daddy, Heung-min Heung-min's son, the prophet, the magician, the love of my soccer life. He's my man of the match. Should have had the Hattie. My honorable mention would probably be Harry Kane for backup man of the match, because he also should have had a hat trick of assists and a goal himself. A little unlucky. If he would have scored, he would definitely been my man of the match. But Heung-min's son was everywhere, shushing the crowd. It was beautiful. So that's my man of the match. What about you?
What about your BD?
Oh, I had one. This whole time I had one. Since the game was over, I've had one. I'm changing it last second. BDE is also going to Heung-min daddy.
Damn, all right.
Because of the celly. Because the celly's so fucking cold. Shh, cállese.
For my man of the match, I got to agree with you, man. It's got to go to Heung-min Son, getting back on the goal sheet. We talked about it before. We're just so glad that he was able to bounce back with the performance like that. And, you know, he's shown time and time again the difference between great and world class is evident in Heung-min dad, and Heung-min Son. My BDE, I got to give it to Bentancur. He had a great performance in the midfield. It'll be great to see what he can do, hopefully, throughout the rest of the season. We just got to keep it up, man. We got to be more consistent. Obviously, we had been really, really inconsistent to start out the year of 2022. But hopefully now, I think the players have some confidence behind them. It was a big London Derby win, and it was a very, very important win for top four. So as we head into the final rundown of the season, man, we only have, 8 games left this season so far? Yep, 8 games left in the Premier League. We do have the international break coming up this week, so no match this week, but we do play Newcastle at home next Sunday on April 3rd. So definitely be ready for that. And then a week later on a Saturday, I believe, we play Aston Villa on the road before finishing it out with some tough fixtures looming in the distance in the form of Leicester City and also Liverpool back to back. But regardless, man, there's a lot of points to be had that are on the table right now. And like we mentioned earlier on, the top 4 race is only heating up, and every point is only going to be more crucial to end the season. Any final thoughts, my friend, before we wrap it up?
We're going to do our one final thought. This is our one final thought.
One final thought. Sorry, one final thought, my friend.
Parting thought. My one final parting thought would be, you know what, actually, I'm going to switch it up. Today, we're recording this on March 21st. That is 3/21. That's National Down Syndrome Awareness Day. Trisomy 21 is a, if you're unaware, it is the syndrome you have that causes Down syndrome, where you basically have an extra chromosome. So, being that special event is today, my one final parting thought would be, just love everybody, man. Everyone's got so much love in them. It's tough times in the world. Just gotta let the love push through and just be kind to people, because you never know what someone's battling, what someone's going through in their day-to-day life. So my final parting message, in light of what, all the racism, negativity, this world's at war, and, just so much bad stuff. Tottenham's winning. It's like, how do you celebrate these things, right? My final parting thought has got to be, man, just love whoever you got and love whoever you don't, because you never know what someone's going through.
For sure. My one final thought, I won't be as deep as yours, unfortunately. You kind of blew it out of the water there for me. But I just want to say, man, I'm glad Heung-min Son's back. It looks like he's back to his best. He was definitely at his best against West Ham. I guess I'll put it into 2 parts here for my one final thought. 1, I'm glad Heung-min Son's back. And 2, it was nice getting a London Derby win. I feel like it's been forever since we've gotten one of those. Especially after that United result. It felt a little bit unlucky on our part, because we played really, really well on the road for the majority of the matches, of the match at Old Trafford. Obviously, Ronaldo was the big difference there, but it was nice to get back-to-back wins, nice to get a derby win, and it's just good to be, good to record after a win. It's been a while, and like I said, a lot of points to be had to end the season, but I think this is a really, really good first step in the right direction. So hopefully Arsenal can drop points. We still do have a match to be rescheduled with Arsenal. We don't know when it's going to be. They haven't announced it yet, but it'll be somewhere near the end of the season. So that's going to be a big 6-pointer as well. It's just about whether or not we're going to execute. We'll see how the squad fares coming out of the international window. I pray to God that no players get hurt while they're on their respective international teams. But yeah, man, just hoping we get 3 points to end the season every single game. But we'll see.
After the international break, we got Newcastle. You should get 3 points out of that. They're playing well. We'll see, but definitely got to get them 3 points.
Yeah, definitely do. Thank you guys so much for listening to another edition of the United Spurs of America podcast. If you want to support this podcast, click on the link down below if you're watching on Spotify video, anchor.fm/United Spurs of America. Click on support. Any amount of donations would be greatly appreciated. Shout out Pete and Faraz for being our sponsors previously, and then also shout out Ellie, who's been a big supporter and donator onto our, or donor, I guess. Sorry, not donator. Donor on the Tottenham Away live streams. And if you're coming from the Tottenham Away live stream, we're moving to Fridays. We're making this official now. We're moving to Fridays, same time that we usually do, just moving it to Friday instead of Tuesday. I had a switch up with my schedule at work, so apologies for the confusion there, but I can't really help it when they tell me I'm working one day and then I got to work one day. So
I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
Once the listeners are paying us as much as you're making there, until that day, we're going to have to work around your work schedule, my friend, because
it's unfortunate.
You know what? You got to make that paper.
Have to. But thank you guys so much if you have been supporting. Thank you guys so much if you're still listening here on this podcast. But yeah, we will see you after the international break. We'll see you after the Newcastle match more specifically. I believe we'll have either 1 or 2 live streams before then. But until then, stay safe out there. Up the lads as always. And Jacob,
come on, you Spurs. Don't get injured over this international break, for the love of God.
Course.